I don't wanna be carbon copy, so I'm cautious when I'm cocky. Cause niggas jack your swag like a sweatsuit out the swap meet. Lately I've been rebranding, so my unborn seed could have a feast off exactly what we planted.
Black relationships.
Yeah.
Especially, that's what your father just said. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
It's a whole new day in 2021.
New day.
Well, as a black man, what is something that you look for before engaging in relationships? And let me preface this. I ask this because, as myself being a black male advocate, I see that sometimes we are put in a hard position, and that it can be the courts, it can be some of the women we choose, let me say that, choose to engage with, or just our lack of taking accountability when things go this way. So with that, I ask, because we're not victims, as you said, right? We are grown men who make decisions.
Correct.
As you said with your father, that
Correct.
we see something that's not going to work for us, and we have to make sure that we lay a foundation for our survival.
Correct.
So, as of right now, what is your opinion on black relationships today, between black men and black women?
Man, I hate to sigh on that one, man, but on the average, it's not that good. I don't think that we know how to just converse with each other, on even the most simple of topics, without it being an argument. I just think that the whole nature of it is not very good. You know what I mean? It's a power trip. It seems like some type of power trip. Who's the smartest? Who's in control? Who's this or that? As long as I'm on top, as long as I feel like I won't be hurt or torn down or whatever type of defense mechanism you could come up with to get that going is, I think, what we got going on right now, and it's pretty bad.
Definitely. It's like we just two hurt people
trying
to hurt each other while saying we want healing.
Yeah, and there's triggers too, because we're emotional people, so we put it out there. So you can literally just take a moment to listen to someone, whether however they're posting, whatever they're talking about, if you deal with them personally or whatever, and you can see that baggage. You can hear that baggage. You, in some cases, can feel that baggage off people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think that's just what we got. What you said, we got a lot of hurt people dealing with hurt people.
So how do you navigate this?
I don't. I don't.
So you like me, huh?
Yeah, I think it's important, especially just for where I'm at in life and what I got going on, what I'm trying to do, to just really focus on myself and get myself to a certain position before I start really putting myself out there in that kind of fashion. But I recognize everything that I'm saying too, and because I recognize that it's just something I totally don't want to deal with. You know what I mean? I think that I'm at an age, being over 35, being 38 exactly on record, that I'm in a particular age bracket where, you gotta have some understanding. Like you gotta know. Like you gotta know. You should have, at this point with where I'm at, if you're in my peer group, you should be either dealing with or have dealt with all your toxic behavior. That should be something you should already be involved with and figuring out before you enter any type of relationship with anybody. And that's where I'm at. I'm not saying I have a bunch of toxic things. I'm just saying that I recognize some of the things that I need to work on foundationally with myself before I start, throwing myself out there to a woman.
I agree 100% with you. Because like I said, I'll be 33 this year. And I've had like 2 serious relationships in my life, which involve cohabitation. So it's like a lot of things I've learned about myself and about women, and then as well what I see today, which is very different. So I still have things to work on. However, I feel like I am not prepared to deal with somebody else bleeding on me, their trauma, because I don't know how I'm going to respond.
Right.
And it's like everybody does not want to get understanding. Some people just want to be heard.
Right.
And if we can't have a proper communication, I'm good.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I just think right now, I say that for a lot of black men, it's best that we really work on ourselves right now and get ourselves in position. And then we can figure out what we do want to do. Because like, you hear the saying like life is short. I don't know. Life is very long.
Life is long, y'all. It's long.
Because I'm sure you can remember 21 or something, you be like, damn, I was really doing that that long ago, and it's not even a factor no more.
Yeah, facts.
So that's a blessing. What advice would you give to a young brother, say about 21? You know, just for navigating in this field in 2021, what would be your words?
I would say, get to know yourself. You know, number one, get to know yourself. You know, if you have things that you aspire to do, this is the time to do those things. You know, at that particular age, you have the energy, the mind frame, the spirit for it. I would say go after those things before you start involving yourself in something serious as a family. You know what I mean? Because these little fleeting moments of pleasure turn into whole families, you know? So I would say, do it unlike how you've seen a lot of other people who are your peers do it, who are running to a life that, you know, may just pretty much end up nowhere. You know what I mean? Or put you so far behind the 8 ball that, you know, you're just digging out of a hole your whole life. So what I would say is that if you're a young brother or even sister out here, what I would say is, you know, whatever you aspire to do and have dreams of, I would say go for that. You know, make that your center focus, and making sure you are the proper person that needs to be, that's going to end up being with someone later. You know, make sure you have all that stuff together first. You know.
No, that's powerful, man. Because I'm very strong. I believe in that very strongly. I think I should, like Dr. Frances Cress Wilson, I know you mentioned her, put the camera on.
Yeah, beautiful.
She has a quote, like, you know, black people shouldn't have children till at least they 30 something.
Yeah, only 2.
Yeah, and I used to think, like, 30 kind of, we all think 30 old because we're socialized having young children. But then I look at now, 30 is a good age because, in a sense, we know ourselves if we have dealt with ourselves. We kind of have a footing on what we don't want to deal with and how to properly communicate when we have issues that are, you know, arguments that come up. So what I've learned, a lot of black men, we kind of X ourselves out early due to the pleasure. Because, you know, we're chasing women, or, you know, we out around the town. So a lot of our problems that we inherit that we deal with through life, it happens in our 20s, whether it be going to jail, getting a felony, knocking a woman up, and it may not last. And just on the accountability thing, which is why I say, brothers, we need to really vet these women before going inside of them.
Yeah.
Because you may not even really fully like this woman, but you didn't wear a condom, and now you have this woman. And as a man, you need to take care of this woman and your child. We can't. Child support is a bad thing. Let me throw that out.
Horrible.
Let me throw that out.
I know some brothers.
It's
horrible.
Yes.
I seen a brother, just real quick.
I
seen a brother one time. I won't mention his name, but he had a really good job, okay? And he put in his time, and I saw his check after he got hit with that child support. And I'm looking dead at this camera. This man put in 80 hours of his life at this place, and his check was about $42.
For one child?
One child.
Good Lord.
I mean, they raped him for that. You know what I mean? And that was like, I've never been in that position, thankfully. You know what I mean? Because I've just been smart. But that was such an eye-opening, you know what I mean? Because it was his face, you know, his emotion.
That's a
just,
mental strain.
Yeah, right. To have all of that work go down the drain, to have not even enough money to really get you back and forth on the bus, back to work. You know what I mean? Like, just horrible.
That ain't even like 3 days of food.
I'm telling you, man, it was horrible.
Wow.
Man. Horrible.
So brothers wear condoms.
Yes.
Sisters, I know it feels good.
Talk.
Tell the
Get past the
condom
picture.
on. Right.
That's really what it is. Get past the picture. The picture is always something men do it too. Get past the picture. That's what I would tell young brothers. Get past the picture. Once you get past the picture, then you can start getting into the meat and potatoes of who this person is.
Right.
Get past the picture.
So before we go to the next one, what's two proper questions that we should ask when engaging, with our counterparts in this society? Because I'm like I said, I think, we should hold out I've learned I don't want to sleep with nobody, and so I don't know you. You know, and then as you get older and we get to this knowledge that we'll get into later, we really giving up pieces of ourselves. And it's like, do we really want to do that, or do we want to engage with a person sexually and then come to find out we sleeping with a devil, and you know that we live. That's our life for us. So, what are some 2 things that you would ask, or you would ask brothers to do, you know, before engaging with women sexually?
Well, because you know, I've jumped out the window too early, you know, in a fun aspect and in a relationship aspect. So I would say, you gotta know what the woman wants. What exactly is she aspiring from? What is she looking to get out of? What are you looking to get out of being with this individual? Are you, is she aspiring to be a wife? Is she aspiring to have a family? From there, does she have an idea of what that incorporates? You know, gain some understanding on the type of union. Your question should be centered around the type of union you want to have with her. Like, that's how I feel. So if you're trying to be with her and really be with her and build a family and things like that, those should be your questions before you sleep with her. Does she want to have children? How does she feel about family? What's her idea of family? Where does she see herself in 5 years? Does she have any of her own personal goals and dreams and things like that to help you better gauge what type of mother she may be, you know, things like that. You want to ask questions that to me bring out her personality, because that's ultimately what's going to raise your child and be a cornerstone in your family.